Alrighty, so when you click on the link on the instructions that say Seismic Explorer, you should open up a website that looks like this. So I want to take a few minutes here to walk you through how to use this so that you can continue on to answer the questions on your packet under task 2. So first of all, when you click and hold, you can move the map around. And the first thing I want to show you is up here in the upper left corner, you see the little refresh button. If you sort of lose where you are when you hit refresh, it will bring you back. Oh, I guess it will go all the way out and then bring you back, which is nice because sometimes you can get, when zooming in, you can get yourself a little bit lost. So we want to look at the area near the Andes in South America. So first thing I want to show you, if it's useful, if you click the data type button, you can turn on names for continents and oceans. You can turn on plate names. You can turn on plate boundaries. I suggest turning off most of this just so that it's not confusing. Okay, so now if we didn't know, we found South America down here. And I'm going to move this to the center of our page and then use the plus to zoom in so that we get a better view. Okay, so this map is showing you the colors of the continent. We've got the greens and we've got some browns. And you can see some white up here, which I imagine is snow. And you can also see the texture of the land. So hopefully you realize that this brown bit with all the folding and bumpy rock looking stuff, this is the Andes. These are the mountains. And you can see that they don't have the green on them because they're higher in elevation. And then let me just back out a little bit more. So these are the Andes, the mountains that we are looking at right now. And then, of course, we've got ocean on both sides. So Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, both sides of South America. The other feature that we can see on this right away is the trench. So notice this very dark blue line. The color is giving you an idea of the depth, and the darker blues are deeper. So if you open up the key in the upper right corner, the colors, wait, nope, sorry, that's not the right key. Okay, that's for earthquakes. We'll look at that in a minute. All right, so they're not giving you a key for the ocean colors, but darker colors are deeper and lighter colors are more shallow. You can see some texture here in the ocean floor. You can see that there's some shallow continental shelf over here that's a lighter blue. Okay, there you go. So take a minute and look at the questions on your packet that ask, oh, no, sorry, we're not there yet. We need to turn on the volcanoes so that you can answer the question on your packet. So going down here to data type again, we're going to click on volcanic eruptions, and we need to include eruptions prior to 1980 so that we can see them all. And you see when we do that, we get these triangles pop up on the map, which are representations of volcanoes. And I think now it will show. Okay, so these are all locations of volcanic eruptions. If you care to look into the timelines about how long ago they happened, you can do that using the colors. Right now, we're just going to focus on the location of them. So zoom out a little bit, so you can see the location of the volcanoes here. So there's a question on your packet about describing the pattern that you see. So take a second, do that. And while you do that, let's see, let's now look at earthquakes. So you can see, I believe that the earthquakes option is checked when you open up this window. So they are on, but we don't see any. And that is because the way this works is that it actually populates over time. So when we hit start, you can see that it's going through time and giving us the earthquakes as they happened, which is kind of fun to watch them populate here on the map. And then when we get to current day, it stops. So now our map has all of these earthquakes on it. Let's see, let's put that in a better place maybe. And as you zoom in, you get more and more level of detail. And hopefully you notice that these symbols have, let's turn off the volcanoes for right now, just so we can more clearly see the earthquakes. Notice that all of these symbols are circles, yet they're not all the same, right? We've clearly got different colors and different sizes. So going back to the key here, now we can use these colors. So the colors are giving you information about depth, and what they mean is how far below the surface was the center of the earthquake. So an earthquake, we're not getting into, too much detail about how earthquakes work. Really, all you need to understand is that an earthquake happens when in the ground, bits of land, bits of rock are under pressure and scrape past each other. So how deep below the surface that happens is shown in the colors. And then the size of the circle is telling us the magnitude of the earthquake, which means how big was it. So a bigger circle means a bigger earthquake happened. All right, so on your packet, there's a question about patterns of earthquakes. So go ahead and take a second, answer that, and then come back. Okay, so let's turn the volcanoes back on just so we can see them there. Now, an awesome feature about this website is that we can make cross sections, and you looked at a cross section earlier in this activity about showing you the shape of the ocean floor and then the shape of the mountains, but it just showed you the shape of the land. What we're going to look at now is actually what's beneath the surface, which is very cool. So I'm going to show you how to do that so that you can make a cross section for yourself and use it to explore and answer the questions on your packet. So let's see. This button down here says draw a cross section. So you click that and your cursor turns into a cross. And what we want to do is we want to draw a line. Remember that P1 to P2 line that we looked at earlier in the lesson? We want to essentially draw a line in a similar place. So on the website here, it actually turns out that this grid line corresponds pretty well with that P1, P2 line. So it's a good guide for where to draw your line. So what you do, I don't know, maybe about here, click, and then drag. And you can see we've got P1 and P2, which looks similar to the profile we looked at before. And then all you do is click Open 3D View and give it a second to load. And you can play with the perspective by clicking and dragging. And I'm actually not going to do it right now because I want you to do this and explore it. But what I will do is just show you how to move it when you get in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line across here where there's nothing interesting happening, but at least we can see what this 3D view thing looks like. So give it a second, and you see it has zoomed in. So I can click and drag and rotate this view all around, and you can see when I rotate it down, what I'm getting is the image of the surface of the land. And then I can turn it and see what's going on beneath the surface. And in this location that I've chosen, all that's going on right now are these two little earthquakes. But you see that they're plotted. They're not at the surface, right? They're a little bit below the surface. Okay, and then you can close to come back to your map. So we canceled that. And I just want to make sure that there was nothing else I wanted to show you. I think that's it for now. So play with this, make your cross section. Feel free to zoom around and look at other places on the globe if you'd like. There's lots of interesting things to see on this map, and answer the questions on your packet. Alrighty.